All right, I want to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters that are in this truth. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, so we're back with another lesson. And this one is going to be titled, Your Blood is Required, Esau. All right, Esau's blood is going to be required. All right, as a cleansing agent as well on this land. All right, and everywhere he has gone. Okay, especially for bringing his violence, right? His nature, which is to be wielding that blessing against the children of Israel, against the apple of the Lord's eye. All right, so your blood is going to be required. Okay, matter of fact, I want to grab something real quick. All right, with the meaning of required, right? Required means something is necessary, mandatory, or officially needed for a particular purpose, rules, or law. All right, and we're gonna get that later. All right, this is a law that was written in Numbers 35 and 33. All right, this is a law that the Lord had put in place for a man that spills blood. Okay, your blood is going to be required, right? Okay, it says it signifies that an item, action, or qualification is not optional and must be provided or fulfilled. All right, so your blood is required, Esau, and there's no way around it. When we're talking about prophecy, okay, all the prophecies must be fulfilled. Okay, the Lord said that his word was not going to go out void. All right, and ever since the inception of Cain, you've been trying to run away from your judgment. All right, that's why the Lord put a mark on Cain. All right, see, when he let him go, it was like let the hunt begin. Okay, because he was going to reserve him, okay, for that destruction. All right, for that get back. All right, starting with the blood of Abel. All right, matter of fact, let's get that. We're going to start in the book of Genesis chapter 4, right, in verse 9.
There's the book of Genesis chapter 4 and verse 9. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
See that? Am I my brother's keeper? And Canaan was already lying from the beginning, because Cain, this was after Cain slew Abel, okay? Because the Lord rejected his sacrifice, and Cain was wroth and jealous of Abel because Abel did what was right, okay? And you see, and this is deeper than that, because the laws were oral back then, showing you that Abel was following the laws of the Lord and Cain was rebellious. You see? Same story with Esau and Jacob, because that's the reincarnation of them, right? And so Cain, all right, which is Esau today, all right, has been jealous of his brother, slew his brother, all right, and up to this day they're doing the same thing, right? Go ahead.
And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground.
You see that? Say that. Read that one more time.
And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood.
The voice of thy brother's blood. Go ahead.
Crieth unto me from the ground.
Crieth unto me from the ground. So the blood of Abel, all right, okay, was crying from the ground. Okay, you see. So the Lord knew. All right.
And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
You see that? So the Lord cursed him. All right, the Lord cursed him because the earth opened up her mouth to receive thy brother's blood. All right, you see? And when you defile the earth with blood, your blood's going to be required. Like I said, we're going to get that later. All right, so, this has been happening from the beginning, right? And we always say that the end is declared from the beginning, as the scripture says, all right? And Cain's fate was already decided, even though there's no record of him being slew or anything. Why? Because the Lord said what? That if his children, the wicked are reserved for the day of destruction, okay? And Cain was the beginning of that wicked line right there, all right? Esau, Edom, okay? So the Lord reserved him, and his fate was already sealed from that moment on, right? That's why there's another scripture that says what? If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, all right? And it's talking about that seed line, all right? Because the Lord is going to cut them off, all right? When you go to the book of Obadiah, okay? Let's get that real quick. Let's go to the book of Obadiah. All right, let's go to the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, and verse 10.
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, and verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
You see that? And thou shalt be cut off forever. All right, for that violence, right? And what does violence? What is one of the things that violence does, man? It sheds blood. It's a lot of bloodshed, right, through violence. All right, and that's what Esau has done, right, from the beginning of time, man. Right, like I said, like we just read, ever since Cain. All right, and it's the same story when Esau and Jacob were born. Because when we go to the book of Genesis, all right, chapter 27, all right, and I believe it's verse 41. We're gonna get right to the point. All right, remember what happened here, okay? When Jacob went and received the blessing from Isaac, all right, when he supplanted Isaac for the blessing, okay, Esau came back, okay, to receive the blessing, but hey, Isaac gave him the bad news, like, I already blessed your brother. And then he cried out and said, can you bless me as well? And Isaac blessed him with the sword when you read up, right, from 37 on down, okay? But we're going to get to the point of, remember, Cain was jealous of Abel because of that, of the way that the Lord accepted Abel's sacrifice and didn't accept him. So now we got two brothers, all right, and one received the blessing, and one did, and one only received the sword, which was really a curse, okay? And we're gonna get into that as we keep going on into this lesson. 41.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27, and verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
You see that? So Esau hated Jacob, right? Just the way that Cain, right, was jealous of Abel. Why? Because the Lord accepted his sacrifice, okay?
And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
You see that? So he was like, yo, once my pops passes away, I'm gonna kill Jacob. All right? You see? The same way Cain thought, it was the same way that Esau was thinking. That's another indicator that, and we know that he was Cain. All right? Plus, remember that mark of leprosy came with was with Esau. Okay? That's why I said he was red all over, right? Because his blood was showing forth. He didn't have no melanin, right? He was a clean leper, okay? But the point is that hate, all right, that he had towards Jacob for the blessing, all right? And this is the same thing they've been doing ever since. They've been hunting for that blessing, all right? Hunting Jake down. Look what they did here in the soils of America, all right? Look what they did when Jake left Egypt, all right? Amalek attacked them from behind, all right? They were always persecuting Jacob with that sword, all right? And that's why the Lord said he was going to have war with them, war with Amalek from generation to generation, okay? And remember that he had told Saul to eliminate all of them, all right? But to fulfill prophecy, the Lord put it on his spirit not to, okay? Why? Because we were gonna fulfill that after in the kingdom, Obadiah 1 and 18, all right? But the point is that this is how it's gonna play out. The Lord put the spirit in Esau, right, to hate Jacob, okay, which makes up 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the Edomites are the so-called white men. And you see how it played out, okay? Ever since 1492, when they came to the soils of America, you see what happened. Look at the history books that they're trying to erase. Look at all the history they're trying to sweep under the rug, okay? The hundreds of millions of lives that they claimed in those times, you know, trying to, you know, erase, right, Israel to receive that blessing, to get that blessing back, okay? But their blood is going to be required for their actions, man. All right, Esau has to pay one way or another. All right, and it is written. Okay, there's no way you're going to be able to escape. All right, the hand of the Lord. All right, the Lord is not a man that he shall lie, as the scripture says. All right, so let's go to the book of Ezekiel. This is one of my favorites. Right, I love bringing this out. All right, because it shows you in detail. Okay, that the Lord is you know, how you call that, he is very when you know, when you say something, what's that, it escaped my mind, when you like say something and you're about to do it, you know, his word is bond, you know what I mean? All right, it never changes. Okay, and he's very specific in different you know, books in the Bible with these prophets. He gives them the same warning towards Esau, right? Throughout the Bible, Obadiah, Jeremiah, Isaiah, okay, Ezekiel, all right? The book of Joel, Micah, all right? Malachi, okay? Revelation, right? Romans chapter 9, all right? 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, okay? So forth, so on and so on, all right? So as they say, the word of the Lord is bond. He doesn't break his word for his name's sake, man. All right? So, let's go to the book of Ezekiel 35. Let's start at the top.
There's a book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir.
So he said that the word, you see what I was just saying? That the word, okay? The word, the Lord's not going to break his word for nobody. All right, and he told Ezekiel that, you know, set your face against Mount Seir, all right, that was the dwelling place of Esau, Edom, all right. But remember, all right, we're in Mount Seir right now. These are all buzzwords for America and wherever Esau, Edom dwells at, right? Go ahead.
And prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
You see that? He's going to stretch out his hand against thee. All right? And what hand is that? That's going to be Yahweh Shai. Okay? That's it. That death angel that passed over Egypt is going to be the one he's going to send this time as well. Okay? Go ahead.
I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate.
You see that? Salakia. You see that? And desolate, man, that's that destruction that's coming. Okay, that is that complete destruction that is coming. All right, because only America is prophesied. All right, to be a deserted place. Right, no other place is prophesied to be deserted, but America, Babylon the Great. Right, so this is future prophecy because it hasn't happened yet.
And thou shalt know that I am the Lord.
You see that? Thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Right, because he already spoke the word. All right, he signed off on it. That's it. It's going to be done.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
You see that? Because you have had a perpetual hatred, which is a hatred forever. All right? Hey, we just read Cain. All right? Okay? We seen what Esau said. And then fast forward to 2026. You see what's going on, right? We still got sundown towns where the you know, so-called Negroes, which are the real Jews, being hung on trees. Okay, we got Gad in reservations. We got the northern tribes being how you call that, deported. Okay, you have had a perpetual hatred against the children of Israel
By the force of the sword.
By the force of the sword. Okay, and we seen what happened. Hey, you go back and you look at when Columbus touched down. What'd he say? With 50 men, I could subdue these people, right? Because they had swords, right? They had armory. They had everything that they needed. That was their blessing, okay? Going back to what? Esau crying for his blessing, right? In Genesis 27, all right?
In the time of the calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
You see that? Since you didn't hate blood, okay, blood is going to pursue you, okay? That's why when Cain did what he did, he became that fugitive and a vagabond, all right? You see? Like I said, the Lord marked him, all right, because he had to play out prophecy all the way to the end, okay? There's many scriptures, right, when you look at Genesis chapter 4, when he said, I will hide my face, right? Or you shall hide my face, you shall hide your face from me, okay? You go to Revelation chapter 6 and 15, it tells you the same thing. How they're going to hide, you know, from the face of the Lord, okay? That's Cain running from his judgment, man. Running from his punishment, okay? Why? Because his blood is going to be required for what he did to Abel, all right? And it didn't stop there. As we're reading, right, with Esau, all right, wanting to slay his brother, all right? Esau having a perpetual hatred for the children of Israel, okay? You people have done nothing but have hatred towards us, man. There's documentaries of when the so-called Negroes got here, all right? These kids were being bullied and terrorized in schools and neighborhoods, right? Little kids being taught to throw rocks and jump them and, you know, chase them out from the parks, and they weren't allowed anywhere, okay? There's burial grounds being discovered now in these old Catholic schools and old school boards, right, in Canada and America, all right? And imagine how many more that haven't been discovered, all right? The blood of the children of Israel is crying out unto the Lord, man, right? From here in the soils of America, man. That's why this place is going to get judged the way it's going to get judged, all right? Nothing but judgment is coming here, man, right? And if you're a part of this society, if you're a part of what Esau is doing, all right, you're going to receive that same judgment, okay? So, let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 17, and let's start at verse 4.
There's the book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
You see that? And that's America, right? With the philosophies, okay, the ways of life, the shit that she pushes, all right? You look on the internet now, okay? Nothing but manipulation, right? Demons. And this goes back even, you know, to the days that they came, right? With the Cesar Borgia image, forcing the people to bow down to the white man, all right? Shoveling the alphabet community down your throat, all right? Drugs, whoredom, just all types of wickedness, man, all right? All types of wickedness, and this is at a low level, all right? You know, you got the Epstein files, all right? And that's just scratching the surface with what these people are doing behind the scene, man, these elites, all right? Complete demons, complete devils, right? Go ahead.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
You see that? Mystery Babylon, right? The great, right? That's that great city, America, all right? The mother of harlots, all right? She's the one who spread these philosophies, man, okay? She's the one. Matter of fact, before we continue there, let's go to the book of Jeremiah, all right, chapter 51 and verse 7.
There's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand.
Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand,
that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad.
You see that? The nations have drunken of her wine, of her philosophies. So now the nations are mad. And that word mad doesn't mean angry. It means crazy, all right? They're off their rockers, man, all right? And you see it, okay? And you could tap into now, you know, you go on TikTok and, you know, find models out in Dubai and or wherever in the Middle East or in the land of Elam or China or whatnot, these people have adopted the ways of America, right? Through her philosophies, okay? All right? They have made it a way of life, all right? You see, and it's an abomination because those cultures weren't practicing what America was practicing before, all right? But they were forced to, okay? Why? If not, they were going to fall behind, okay? Stone Age type shit if they would have never followed the ways of America, okay? Because America's the hammer of the earth, you see? They were dictating everything, right? Business, right? Through their wars, okay? Sanctions, all types of shit, all right? So if you didn't follow, you just fell behind, okay? Technology, all right? So Babylon has been that golden cup, all right? So let's go back to Revelation chapter 17, all right? And read number 5. Start at 5 one more time.
There's a book of Revelation, chapter 17.
Salakia, you know what? Start at 4 again.
Alright, there's a book of Revelation, chapter 17, and verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
See that? She's the abomination of the earth. Okay? That's why this place is going to get judged the way it's going to get judged. That fire is going to purify, right? This place, okay? Especially for what they did to the saints, which is you Israelites, okay? And then it's going to set an example. It's like when I remember that movie, was it Troy or Alexander? With Brad Pitt, that he was Achilles.
Sure.
Right, okay. He slayed that giant and turned around and said, anybody else? Right? That's how the Lord's gonna do the earth, man. He's gonna destroy this place, he's gonna destroy Israel, and everybody else is gonna be like, hell no, not me, right? The Lord gonna say, who else? Okay? Go ahead.
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
You saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. The saints is you Israelites. We always got to specify that, with scripture. If you don't believe, whoever listens to this and you don't believe, just go read Psalms chapter 50 and verse 5, and you'll find out who the saints are, which is the Israelites, right? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, all right? And how was it drunken? It started in 1492 when they came here and did what they did to Gad, all right? They went through Central America, South America, all right? Just trying to wipe out all you Israelites in the islands, okay? So the woman, right, is drunken, right? America is drunken with the blood of the saints, right? Go ahead.
And with the blood of the
martyrs.
Martyrs of Yahushua.
And with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua, because remember, some of us that do make it to the end are going to be put to death for the word of the Lord, okay? Go ahead.
And when I saw her, I wondered the great admiration.
With great
admiration.
Khan. So, see that? This is John the Revelator. He wondered with great admiration. Okay? And then the angel corrects him. All right? Because he shouldn't have marveled over this place. He saw the nice lights, the technology, just the roads, the cars, the great power, military, just everything looked nice, right? Okay, but hey, that's all that's the witchcraft of America, man. All right, that's how these people see the world, see America around the world, right? Until they get here, all right. And then when they see the interior of it, it's just a rubble of shit, right? Nothing but drug addicts, all right. Fucking underpaid jobs, okay. You get no rest, shitty food, all right. You gotta work 8 hours just to pay your bills. All right, and just to get by, all right? It ain't what it seems, man, okay? False advertisement, all right? And that's the same thing the angel, was telling John, all right? This place is nothing but wickedness, all right? Nothing but thieves, murderers, right? Witches, warlocks, okay? This is what this place is being ran by, all right? And that's why this place is upside down, and the Lord got to come back to make things right, right? His blood is going to be required, man. Esau, has sealed his fate since Cain, man. Right? Matter of fact, let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 63, right? Because the Lord said, all right, that he's going to stretch out his arm. And his arm is Yahweh Shai. All right, so when you go to the book of Isaiah chapter 63, start at the top.
There's the book of Isaiah chapter 63 and verse 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah?
You see that? Who is this that cometh from Edom, right? Because that's that judgment that's coming. It's coming to Esau, man, with dyed garments from Bozrah. Why is his garment dyed? Go ahead, keep reading.
This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save.
I mighty to save, right? I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. That's Yahweh Shai, right?
Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat?
Khan. So when you look at, somebody that tread in the wine fat, there's like grape juice all over him, and that red apparel is just meaning a symbolism of bloodshed, right? Go ahead.
I have trodden in the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain on my raiment.
You see that? There's going to be so much bloodshed, all right? And that's figuratively, okay? Not literal. The Lord's not going to come down here and stain his garment with blood, man. That's just a symbol of how much bloodshed he's going to bring, right, to Esau, Edom.
For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come.
You see that? So for the day of vengeance is in my heart, all right? Remember, they're the same. The Romans were the same ones that put him to death as well. And we're in the revised Roman Empire, all right? Esau, Edom has to pay for what they did to him and to the children of Israel, all right? Your blood is going to be required, right, for your actions, Esau, okay? The so-called white man thinks that he has established a society that's untouchable, all right? His inner thoughts are that his house is going to continue forever, all right? But the Lord has other plans, okay? You see, the Lord said he's coming back for vengeance. Vengeance is in his heart, which means in his mind, the lab, right? So the Lord's been thinking about this whole time, man. And he can't wait, right? He's waiting patiently, all right? Sitting next to Yahweh to get that green light, all right? For the day of vengeance, okay? Why? Because you have shed the blood, right? Not only of Yahweh Shai, right? But of the children of Israel, okay? From the beginning. So your blood is going to be required, okay? So let's end it with the book of Numbers, chapter 35 and verse 33.
There's the book of Numbers, chapter 35 and verse 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
You see that? And did we not read in Revelation chapter 17 and verse 6, right, that the blood of the saints, right, crieth unto the Lord, okay, and the blood of the martyrs, all right? There's so much bloodshed in this country, right, especially from you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. No other nation has shed more blood than you on the soils of America, okay? And not only that, all right, Esau got to pay his debt since Cain, remember, okay? He got to pay his debt since Cain. That's why he said, as I said in the beginning, the wicked are reserved for the day of destruction. That was that reservation, all right? The Lord raised them up to rule, to run around rampant, doing all their wickedness to justify, all right, that great judgment that is coming, right? That great sacrifice in Bozrah, as it says in Isaiah chapter 34, right? Where the Lord said his sword will be bathed in heaven, and it shall come down upon Idumea, all right? Upon who? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, all right? So the Lord has spoken it, and it is going to be done. The blood of Esau is required, right, for shedding the blood of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, all right? So, Lord willing, this was edifying, and with that, we're going to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters that are in this truth. Shalom.
Shalom.
Abba Baba.
Abba.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kum Yeshua.
Shalom.
Shalom.